The apartments in The Sims 4 have always been a little bit big for my taste. They just seem unrealistic, and so what if we made them smaller? Hello, my friends, it is Luca, and welcome back to my channel. In today's speed build, I'm renovating another apartment, but this is a little bit different. I used the tool mod quite a bit here to adjust this apartment. So essentially, I moved the front door and the windows, and I split this apartment, which is 2B Jasmine Suites, into 3 micro apartments. I have done this before in the past, but I don't know. I haven't done it in a while, and I forgot that I did it in the past, so here we go again. And so I did already record a couple of these apartments, so you'll see those other ones in the future, but this one is just a small apartment for I'm gonna say like a teen girl, let's say, or maybe she's in college, she's an art student. Yeah, we'll say that. We'll say it's an art student's micro apartment, micro home. It's just a tiny little apartment that is just an open plan kind of studio space with, you know, a little bathroom, and honestly a really fun thing to do in The Sims 4, because these apartments, like I said, are huge and honestly kind of unrealistic for them to be this big. So this size just feels a little bit more natural and a little bit more realistic. Essentially how I achieved this was, like I said, using the tool mod. And so using the tool mod, which I do have a tutorial on how to accomplish this. If you want to replace the windows with some different ones, or if you want to move the front door, you can do this with the tool mod. It's pretty easy once you figure out the concept behind it, but it just does take a little bit of practice and kind of just figuring out numbers and just kind of guessing, honestly. But it was really fun to do that, because even if you're just renovating the apartment normally and you just want to move the front door just to kind of change up the floor plan a little bit, because, you know, having the same, you know, placement of the door and the windows can kind of affect how you lay out an apartment. So you can easily just move the windows around if you want. And yeah, so with this apartment, I split it into 3 tiny apartments. So that's pretty crazy, honestly. I was thinking of just doing 2 because I've done that in the past, but this one was big enough that I could do 3. And since this is an apartment on like the end of a building, so there's like 3 outer walls, it kind of made sense. So they all have a good amount of light. This first one here is very colorful, like you can see. I just went crazy with all the pastel colors. I didn't want it to be boring. I wanted it to be very like just full of life, like an art student lived here. That's kind of what I had in my head. And yeah, I really loved the little kitchen. It's got just enough space for everything they need. And I decided to do a little little short, what do they call it? A mini fridge. I decided to do one of those just because it added some more counter space, quote unquote, and also it just took up less space visually, and it made it seem a little bit more cozier. And I've seen some apartment tours in the past of some really small apartments in like New York and other places where they just use mini fridges as well. If it's just a single person, that's all they need, and honestly it works, and you know, you're gonna get the same functionality out of it in The Sims 4, so it really doesn't matter. The windows that I did use though today in this build, these are from the high school years expansion pack. I just love these windows anyways, because they just look like a basic window, but they have a lot of detail. That's really what I like about them, because they look like they have a latch. And honestly, the reason why they have a lot of detail is because they're actual like functional windows. Like your Sims can actually go in and out of them. Obviously not in this case, because we're in an apartment building, and that would be kind of ridiculous. But you know, it just, if you're looking for something that can add a lot of like visual like detail, if you're looking for windows that just look good, I highly recommend these. I tried to use a lot of stuff in this apartment that I don't normally use in my builds, just like a lot of like posters here, this pink shade, which I never use pink in builds like this. I don't know, I find myself getting really like I don't know, it's such a pale pink. It's really hard to work with, but in this case, it worked pretty well. I separated the bedroom space from the rest of the like living area in this side of the apartment with this room divider from the My Wedding Stories expansion or game pack. And yeah, I feel like that helped a lot because, you know, it was just this big open space, and having like a little room divider there just kind of helped separate it without being too much like an actual wall would. I went with just like a boho kind of thrifty theme. You know, obviously I think this is the Spice District in San Myshuno. Makes sense. I feel like it fits the vibe really well here. I absolutely love all the little decor pieces that I use. I love that side table in the living room. It's got that mirrored top, but it has all sorts of little details on it too. Really nice item. Honestly, City Living still is one of the best expansion packs we've ever gotten in The Sims 4. I can say that with my chest. I love City Living. And the table and chairs in the kitchen, I didn't even bring up. Those are from the Eco Lifestyle expansion pack. They're actually debug items that your Sims are technically just supposed to find in dumpsters, I think, but I just found it in debug, of course, you know. I thought it looked really cute in here, and it just kind of had a little bit of a retro thrifted vibe. It looks like they just bought it from like the flea market or something. And I also used the TV from that Eco Lifestyle expansion pack as well, because, you know, it just fit the vibe as well. And this apartment needed some more plants. You always need plants. Like, that's something I feel like I've been doing lately in my builds, where I will furnish the apartment, do everything that I need, and then it'll get to the point and be like, okay, now it's plant time. And so I just start putting plants everywhere just to kind of add some life to the apartments or builds or whatever I'm doing. Yeah, it's just, that's definitely something that is it just a crutch? I don't know, but I love just adding a bunch of plants everywhere and just, yeah, going a little bit crazy, because, you know, it's just pretty. I do make a lot of changes here and there, like constantly. You know me, I tend to get really indecisive. So I was just moving some things around, like color, like changing the colors of the curtains later on. Like, I do change them. I really like how these look. They're these like they're like a green and white, like polka dot kind of thing. And I think they do look good in hindsight now. I kind of regret changing them, but I think I'd change the colors to something a bit more neutral, just because I thought the green just was too much. But honestly, now that I'm looking back, I'm like, this is actually kind of nice. I also tried to do like a kind of design, sort of making my own wallpaper with this poster that it looks like a moth, but at this point I was like, you know, I'm a little bit too lazy to do that, so I just scrapped that idea, and I was like, you know what, maybe I'll try that another time, but not today, because it's not happening. But I do want to keep that in mind for the future, because I do think that that's a really fun idea to kind of create your own wallpapers with those wall decals, because we have a lot of them in The Sims 4, so, you know, might as well use them. And I do change the walls up a little bit. I switched the accent wall of the bricks to the front of the building, no, the side, you see there, to the wall behind the bed. I changed it there, and I thought that looked a lot nicer. It felt a little bit more like grounded that way, because it just felt a little bit like, you know, whenever you look into like a room and just the proportioning of everything feels a little off. That was kind of affecting it, because the brick was like bringing all your attention towards the windows, but the rest of the walls looked just kind of empty and bare. And so I was like, you know, I need to balance this out, because the windows are really open, there's a lot of light coming in. And then I changed the curtains again. I kind of regret that, because honestly, I was going for these yellow ones, and then I went back and forth with the colors on those, and it was just, you know, I get really indecisive, because like there's so many things I could do, and I want to make sure I try them all. But I do like the yellow curtains here. They're nice, but I kind of regret it. I kind of wish I would have kept those green ones, because they kind of were a little bit more in with the vibe of the apartment. But that is pretty much everything. This is not available on the gallery just yet. You know how apartments are in The Sims 4, so you gotta save the room and I'll do all that nonsense. But I will be uploading this full apartment, as in all 3 apartments, once I'm finished. I already have 2 of them done, so the next one will be coming out soon as well. Keep an eye out. But yeah, that is everything. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Do let me know in the comments down below what you think, and give me some more build suggestions as well. And that is everything. Thank you all so very much for watching. Stay weird, and I will speak to you all next time. Goodbye, my friends.